Hi guys, and I'm back to another Raymond Scottish after Austin for interest of pop culture, and I regret inform everybody everybody that supports the chat. I know that steering you art is having issues having issues if I trail also unfortunately I've had to skip the intro so sad till this is an ongoing issue um this is an ongoing issue for me any or the emails at the moment so yes on Obed is in the chat but oh even I've got a person in the chat actually um watching right now so yeah so to get things off Charlotte you'll check to see if us I've obviously I'm going to spend the first few minutes on the on the 6th year anniversary trail on the gesture up so just uh, uh, so just summarize of what's on the way this trail. Oh,
My sort of brief thoughts is it wasn't a bad trailer with what was in it. I
yeah,
think all the trailers look pretty, the effects look good, the sort of it feels bigger again a little bit, it feels like a proper show again. But my main issue is honestly, I think there wasn't enough new footage. I think they
yeah,
are recycling shots at this point. I feel like I've seen a lot of some of the Tenant shots of his Doctor we've seen. We've seen a lot of the same Donna shots. And I just think at this point, now you need to start not showing everything because obviously then we wouldn't have any surprises left. But I think you
yeah,
need they needed something bigger for that trailer. They needed a wow moment, whether that was, oh God, we're bringing this character back, or this actor's in
yeah,
it, or here's this a bit of this set piece we've not seen, because it just told us nothing and it didn't really wow us enough. And my other point is, if you're not going to give a story, which is what I've got the vibe is there. I know the vibe I'm getting is that they're trying to keep the story as close to their chest as possible. Okay,
yeah,
I'll play that game. You could have done something more creative. You could have done
yeah,
something a bit more interesting to at least as a concept if you didn't want to give a story beats.
yeah. Yeah, and like, yeah, like, and after, it's, what a fan of the whole sort of, even at the whole social media sort of, announcement, because it was hard to any effort put in that, trail. Or it was only a few seconds that basically it kind of basically is short changed the fans that are still excited for the show so you guys ever actually, you guys never get much out of it, and what sort of and what sort of sin he I'd
Kelly.
and and a whole sort of sin who said to the and um well um um uh, um uh, that and like I've really involved in myself and I've actually changed my opinion to of a trail running over because it's old um and of a show or a short because it's all just um because it's all just to the around sort of umps
Yeah, it's
basically
we haven't got a trailer yet that has
yeah
got a proper like flowing thought process to it, have we?
mhm,
It's all been very
no
bitty and here's this shot, here's this shot,
yeah
here's this shot.
yeah
And you can't really get any narrative yet out of any of them. I'm just
yeah
thinking, I think soon, I'm hoping Comic-Con, we start to get a bit of a hint to what some hint towards the story, or I said this on Noel's stream, maybe a hint towards why Tennant's there, why we got that face. I think that's a
yeah
massive
but
question for people.
yeah I'm sorry but but the show on it and you so I the hell should so I'm the hell should the show actually eat an overseas sort of event. It's just sort of um unveiled sort of prop or sort of story because and or actually be and I'm not actually trying to be I'm not or actually trying to be as respectful and Eric in fan base but the show was actually a option. So anything in my opinion should actually it be shown in you before anything else. No, oh, I don't really get the I don't really get the whole strategy.
I think what it is that in the
Yeah,
UK, we
yeah,
have got a con scene and it's active and there's plenty of them.
yeah,
But the more prestigious traditional big cons are in
yeah,
America and San Diego. I think it
yeah,
has lost a lot of its sort of importance, especially with
yeah,
it wasn't been able to run itself for a couple of years because of world events. I won't say them on stream.
yeah,
So I think it has lost some of the prestige it had, but it's still seen as a big
yeah,
event and
yeah,
it's seen as a big sort of geek thing, even though, like I said, it's so much more commercial nowadays. It's not what it used to be.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and like yeah, but it's basically like one of my main sort of, it's just basically like one of my main sort of things that I've never really understood. But it's basically yeah, you put a option. It's not like it is order it's not like it's for the option. It is para ay mara is one an American an American so there's no ordinary way you're sort of using behind that and I feel as though the traditional I feel as though the traditional fan is as it what I think no what I get because how often how often are you will only get the chance to be make the um over San or just um or just foreign just foreign just for foreign and some and of a show all as um as I want over or he over over he over she over she here it's not very practical. Oh
I know it's not, but it's like I said, it's the traditional way to get a lot of eyeballs on a trailer.
yeah,
So we'll see. We're sort of we're guessing at the moment because Russell hasn't officially said anything,
yeah,
and the BBC haven't come out and said yes, Doctor Who is going to be at Comic Con. But we know Russell in the past liked to go, and he was quite good at doing panels, and it just
yeah,
makes sense. So we'll just have to see at this point.
yeah.
And hello, Lee.
Indeed, hi, 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 problem in an all and cha I am so Charlotte is there any sort of so is there any sort of things that you have been tuning and that you have been excited about out of or tuned in here as of all here
Well, on the telly front, it's a bit quiet because it's
yeah
like my other big show that I love the universe for, which isn't coming
yeah
out till next month. And I'll probably have lots to say when the first half, because they've split it, comes out. So I'm sort of in a lull telly wise. But I actually found on YouTube something really interesting because I loved games since I was a kid, and my most
yeah
recent thing in the last probably 5 years is I love listening to voice actors who actually work in games
yeah
because it's such a different type of acting, but it isn't. I just find voice acting so intriguing to sort of talk to look at to just listen to people who do it, see people
yeah
do it, and I found And another thing that I don't play them, but I like watching them, is the Resident Evil games,
Yeah,
because I'm not good at with horror stuff playing it. So I wouldn't play them, but I find them always intriguing enough to watch. And I think
yeah,
some of the most recent titles have actually come across as really well made, and the fan base seems to adore them. So I found one of the voice actor for Leon, who's like one of the big known characters,
yeah,
who in the current games, he's actually been streaming the games and playing them
yeah,
and talking. And it's just so interesting to hear a voice actor who's worked on something actually give you that behind the scenes
yeah,
look. Because another thing is, increasingly now with games, when they want proper cinematics and they want this sort of really good sort of performance, they do motion capture, which once upon a time would have just been in movies, but now a lot of games sort of studios use it. So to hear him talk about doing the mocap, because he did all Nick, can I say his surname now? Nick, oh, I can't say, I feel bad. His surname's like Greek sounding. I feel bad. But so he does
yeah,
so all the cinematics, he acts out basically on a mocap with all the dots. Have you ever seen it? It's so peculiar to watch as well. You've got these actors in like these suits with like pretend props, so they
yeah,
had the same weight. No, but and he comes across as such a cool and down to earth guy, and I think that's the other thing with
yeah,
voice actors, because they're not as lauded as their film and TV counterparts. There's a
yeah,
couple.
yeah, yeah, but like how I think in voice, I think in voice, um, I think if you are kind of say did it and just get a lot more sort of and get a lot more sort of open and each of and as a was as a was if if oh as opposed if if oh um as opposed to people in the industry or in who are up in our own arse basically in a
And
bit
he's
more
Nick Lee. He's Nick
yeah
Apocalypse, something like that. Like I said, it sounds Greek, his surname, but he's American. It's Nick
yeah
Apocalypse. Or no, that's not how I say it, but it's like that. I'm terrible with surnames, but he
yeah
just comes across as a really down to earth, and also he's did such a good job, because if people don't know, Leon, in the first game you meet him in the Resident Evil series, he's a rookie cop. That's the whole sort of spiel. It's his first day at work. And it's
yeah
like he gets introduced to this crazy world of zombies and everything. So, and Nick talked about that because he's also been on streams with people playing the Resident Evil 2 remake that he did the voice for. Um, and he talks about this. He says how like he purposely made his voice sound really young when he was voicing Leon, and how he was very aware that Leon was so new to all these events. So he wanted the shock to really feel like, God, what's this? Like he was a rookie, he didn't know what he was coming across. And then in Resident Evil 4 remake, the character's now been quite more experienced. And you can hear that in his voice. He actually makes his voice sound older. And even some people, when the game came out, were like, oh, they got a new voice actor. And he came out, he said, no, it's me. He goes, I knew Leon would be older at this point and he'd be more experienced. So I wanted to show that in my performance. And that's what I think so lovely about voice acting. Because the physical doesn't matter, because they make all that for the game. But creatively, you have to do a lot more with your voice, because that's the only thing you can really control. So it's like, if you hear voice actors talk about their work, it's always interesting because, like I said, it's a different type of craft. And I think it's a really underpraised craft, actually. Like I said, you've got some of the big voice actors who do get a lot of attention. But because of also, if you think about games,
Yeah.
think about how many voices you hear in a game. They're all voice actors. So there's so many people in the industry who never get any accolades or sort of praise. So I've been watching that. It's just been fascinating to hear an actual voice actor talk about his work and sort of his processes.
And but actually, he have found that myself that voice the voice actors are a bit more up or building some of the whole sort of industry sort of side to the sort of side to the and industry uh, um you know your um your present all your present us at them and on shows and I'm not only getting the whole sort of the whole sort of thing in the you the moment of a certain sort of of a certain sort of show the um woman is also what's that holes and sort of whole sort of things that we can't really get and that we can't really get in and and here at the moment. So yeah, so you can yeah, so voice voice people that are actually good and a bit more of up up approachable basically. To
Yeah,
be
and
honest,
I've
and a bit
noticed that actually there has been
yeah,
quite a lot of voice actors now are doing bits on YouTube or
yeah,
Twitch or other things, and it is
yeah,
lovely to get that to have that connection. Because I don't know
yeah,
what you find. Because I don't know what you find, Daniel. But in some of these cases in games, you hear these voices for hours on end, don't you? So you
yeah,
get quite attached to them,
yeah,
and they mean quite a lot. So to have somebody then to be like, oh, I'm going to stream my game for a bit or something I've worked on, and be like, oh, open questions, and
yeah,
that's what he's also like. He's very like, yeah, you can ask me questions. I'll talk as much as I can
yeah,
about
yeah,
what it was
exactly.
like working on the Resident
Yeah,
Evil games.
yeah, 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 and it's and it's was sort of and it's was sort of as it was sort of almost across other channels as as if and I think it's a lot more of Archer Archer and then YouTube as a as a art form as well for or sort of um or sort of everything in the moment, even often in the news and stuff. I tune in I tune in the people I tune in the people like I tune into people like I tune into the people like um he on he and other channels like and I also do a bit of auditing for he is also she is so well, she is a pretty so she is a pretty spot on um ch- I know she us part of the all investigations as well. So she's so she basically so she basically he chats about all on on the chat. I know, and I think people are starting um people are starting to actually tune in tune tune to tune into the general public as opposed on is us who's on children on children on who sort of children as who ch 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 um who's as no yeah an opinion as on Charlotte.
I think it depends on the
Yeah,
topic, doesn't it? Certain
yeah,
things, the traditional telly channels
yeah,
or streaming have
yeah,
to basically follow certain guidelines and rules,
yeah,
and they can't have certain things be shown. Whereas on YouTube, it's as long
yeah,
as you keep as much as you can to their
yeah,
guidelines, it's so much more freedom.
yeah,
So I think these sort of like I know because now and again, if I'm in the mood, I can watch some like crime, like true crime sort of podcasts or watch some videos on YouTube
yeah,
because it's the whoever's doing it, they choose how they want to like what information they want to include. They're not getting told, for example, oh, you can't talk about this aspect of the case.
yeah,
If they want to talk about that aspect, they can talk about that.
yeah,
And it's sort of like, and I think the other difference is it's actually personal, isn't it? Whereas
yeah,
television, it's like here's sort of no personal touch. It's sort of just this product that you watch,
yeah,
unless it's a real like deep dive sort of documentary type thing.
yeah,
But otherwise, it's sort of just there's no personality. Whereas in YouTube, you have that, don't you?
yeah, yeah. I've actually noticed to myself because a few of the channels that I've a few of the channels that I've recently found have their own personality having their own sort of personality and our own sort of and our own sort of approach is because um um b- 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 um and like because mas eu assim really an agenda was not really an agenda and there's not really an agenda an agenda an agenda basically in it is after some in study in was in shows shows it is own is um agenda
Well, yeah, and I think also the thing
yeah
I notice versus like YouTube and other online stuff versus
yeah
traditional is that once the online, whether it's a personality or like a collection of people or whatever sort of thing it is, once they know
yeah
they've got their fan base, they know
yeah
to play to it. Whereas
yeah
it feels like the last 5, 10 years, so much of the actual entertainment industry
yeah
has had these IPs that have got inbuilt fan bases, that have got inbuilt people that adore these IPs, but
yeah
they're scared to death to actually play to that. I
yeah
mean, you just have to look at, like, I've not watched it, and I think eventually all the Universal stuff, so the Nintendo movies will come to Netflix, is what I can understand. So I
yeah
probably
I heard
watched it
that
then. But
yeah
Mario, from what I've heard,
yeah
that is a perfect movie for the fans that adore Mario. It's
yeah
for them. And that's what Hollywood needs to get back to doing, and the BBC and other big entertainment providers. Don't
yeah
try and change your audience or go chasing for another one. Just play to the crowd you've got,
yeah
and then you'll get money and your franchise will stay healthy.
uh, but I mean yeah because even JB I mean but because even JB even JB even JB um even JB Rose has a your own agenda and like and to be honest
Where's it?
if you if you only be a sort of if you only be a sort of but if you like, only be a sort of a channel oh yeah I have to be is to get away a band you have to be is to get away a band in
Hi,
all the
Wendy.
you have to basically a band a band a band and own a agenda own the agenda own the agenda own the agenda Yes,
Well, yeah, I think the problem
yeah
is I think the main problem is with agenda. It's when it's
yeah
false, and you know the
yeah
people who are putting it in don't actually believe this stuff.
yeah
They're just doing it to play to the crowds or to get brownie points.
yeah
And that's why recently I in recent, I mean like in the last couple of years, there is stuff which it probably has got some agenda in, but you know what? It's actually been written well. But more
yeah
importantly, they've done it because you can tell they actually want to tell that story. And I've watched it and I've actually enjoyed it. And I wouldn't even use that word for those programs. Because to me, it's not agenda then. It's actually just a story that has certain beats it wants to tell and certain characters it might want to tell stories about. For me, agenda is when it's false. That's when I'd use that word.
Yeah.
When you are trying to push something in people's faces. So those are the two sort of ways I think about that word.
Yeah.
Because we all have beliefs at the end of the day. We all have views. That's not agenda. That's just who we are.
I mean, but the same point, I'm at this same point, all you they only want become a sort of or change or change or change aspect as I'm seeing that I'm seeing that with a lot of different and I'm seeing that with a lot of I'm seeing that with a lot of different things.
Yeah, no, it's important to have debate, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
And it gets very, very boring. So there's many things I adore about being on Type 40 Live. But one of the things I do is we're all different. We all have our views. Some of us will think this about a certain episode or this about a certain doctor or this, and the other will go, no, I completely disagree. But that's good.
Yeah.
And we actually have those debates on stream and it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And I think you need that.
Yeah.
It's healthy.
Yeah.
So hello, Darren. You've just popped in. Hello, Cinnamon. It's just popped in. Wendy, hello.
Have you got any? Have you got any? Have you got any? Over a bit.
Because this is sort of talking about anything type of stream tonight. So if you've got any questions, it doesn't have to be to one topic.
Yeah.
So I tell you what, something I did watch recently though, which was proper telly, and I did really enjoy. And I was a bit nervous about it going in. It was the Power Rangers big reunion special they did on Netflix a couple of weeks ago now.
Yeah, I heard about that because you told me about it.
And it was just right. It was just the right amount of corny, just the right amount of heart, a little bit of seriousness. And I as a Power Rangers fan, I'm not going to tell you it's Shakespeare. It's not. That's not what Power Rangers is. But it's and it was so lovely. What I really enjoyed about it actually was the core sort of relationship of basically one of the original casts in the show's daughter and her relationship with some of the other two sort of main male OG Rangers that were in it. And it was this lovely like uncle niece relationship, but they basically looked after her, so it was almost like a father daughter. Almost, it wasn't far off. And they actually wrote it like realistically that she snapped at them and she was a bit cocky, but then she actually got consequences. She went straight into a fight, and I can't remember. It was so refreshing to see this. She went straight into a fight thinking she could do it, and she got her backside handed to her. And I was just like, isn't that refreshing? Having a character think that they can do something and actually having real life for a second, go, no,
Yeah.
you can't fight. You're not a Power Ranger. She thought she was. Like, you could tell that's what was in her head. So that was so nice. Like, I was a bit nervous about it because it was like, oh, it's Netflix. It's a big sort of 30-year special. And these can
Yeah.
go very wrong, but it was perfect for the fans. That's what I'm talking about. I think things need to go back to just trying to please the fan base that is already built up and adore these IPs or characters. Yes, Cinnamon. We are all
Yeah,
very, very different.
yeah, very well. And very well. Cinnamon.
Because we all respect each other and we're all family at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, and you know, what of us, no matter what of us, have, our YouTube, channels as a, matter we, help, as a way, help find, as a way, help find, um, f- um, um, her friendships is help is from it's hard and actually you find friendships because I want and because I want autism 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 which is other also for me and this channel as well um in or friendships basically and and I think it's and I think this platform is in a show for people like us elf. I'm not sure about youth and on
Well,
that
I
show.
think obviously if you're into these slightly more, we would say geeky things like Doctor
Yeah,
Who, or for me, like I just spoke about Power Rangers or other things, it's hard to find a lot of people in the real world to talk about those things unless you know like
yeah,
dedicated places to go. But there's not
yeah,
many of those about, if unless you're in like a big city that happens to have certain like bars, or do you know those sort of really well known places.
yeah,
So you'd watch these programs or you'd like be really into these things and you couldn't really talk to anybody
yeah,
about it. And YouTube's allowed me to find people I can talk to about loads of my things that I get frustrated with or I love or I get excited about. Because if you
yeah,
said
but
that to other people, they just look at you funny. It's just no way to describe it. They'd be like, "What?"
yeah, because I can yeah, but is that kind of run I kind of run I kind of run of on about wrestle in almost every basic and it's actually it's therapy and it's actually it's therapy you take and be on is to begin as a lot of things that as he off even on passionate about the subject and us all sorts of things that annoy me about
Yeah, and it's
it.
perfect for that because like if you were to talk to me about that stuff,
Yeah,
I wouldn't have a
mhm,
clue. I would just be
yeah,
like, "All right, Daniel," like, and only because it's not my thing to talk about, and I don't. Sports never been my thing, let alone wrestling. So,
yeah,
but then vice versa. I can talk to you about stuff that I
yeah,
know you don't really know about, but you know it means a lot to me. So you'll let me rant at you.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
that we that's what this has allowed us to do. Find people who at first we found each other because we've got shared interest. But then
yeah,
we made these really genuine friendships out of it.
yeah,
That now it's like, oh, this is really narked me. I can talk to Daniel. or I can chat with Noel or so many other people. Dan, God, I could name so many, and I bet you're the same, and a lot of people in the chat could do the same for people who we've all met through
oh
this
jeez,
platform.
oh Jesus
Oh,
Christ,
Sean, what have you
Sean,
got him on now?
oh Jesus Christ, don't actually start with me and hospital. He's a 7 foot sack of shit. He's hopeful. He can't even wrestle. He fumbles about in there and and he trips over himself. The guy is absolutely hopeful. He's just a 7 foot sack of shit that actually needs to be fired. As, um, as soon as humanly possible, or I'm going to have a heart attack um, every time I'm watching it. So, and it's so shit, it's unbelievable.
And
And then,
there's Daniel's one rant he has to have every time wrestling is mentioned on stream.
oh, well, yeah, but, but Yes, on that when I'm sure on that when what he was up
Yeah, he's just
and
said I couldn't resist. I know what you're doing, Sean.
yeah,
I think in your head you
yeah,
call it Daniel rant button, and you know exactly when to press it.
yeah. Oh Jesus, yeah, there's a and yeah, there's a fee and a chat and and put a rant button, but on to an expert at it, and uh, yeah, but yeah, 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 but Sean, he's or a it'll, it'll, he's not a Elsie, if I at the moment, my football football outside actually 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 um, actually and Cheryl Orphy he is and I'm sure he's going to put me in um, also for the for um um so I'm sure I'm sure if anything or any ish I'm if anything getting home ish and
Yeah, and Sadaki, yeah, lockdown. did definitely, I think,
Yeah.
make a lot of communities, and it made us a bit more brave, weirdly, I think, to do this all online stuff that we never would have imagined doing not that long ago.
Yeah.
It's like I've said this before, but it's like if you would have told me 5 years ago, oh, you're going to be like on streams talking and loving it and being like in a community. And at this point, I feel like multiple ones because it's just lovely. I'd be like, you're crazy. Like, what are you talking about? That's never going to happen.
Yeah. Charlotte. Charlotte is the biggest fan on the on the on the and she so she so she understands that
I don't understand. I know Middlesbrough's a
it's
football team, and I know Celtic because I could not
yeah
know about Celtic now being mates with Daniel, but that's about it.
yeah uh, I have I have I have I have one question Oscillation like for oscillation I couldn't I think leave of your I think to leave of opinion Moran he oughtn't had them some had them something as it matches if if I if I oh for all and except etc etc I don't want don't want to make the sort of 20th century extreme but like for me yeah I think the for me I think the I is very it's very sort of on or it's very sort of on or appreciate and very sort of or appreciate it but I'd be happy I'd be happy I'd be um I'd I'd be happy I'd be happy I'd be happy actually have that actually have that stream up but how um 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 or be or is it better aspect oh um chat in so
So
yeah
basically, Sean, you asked a question so you could set up a stream with Daniel. That's what I'm getting from this.
yeah
It was all a ploy.
yeah
And thank
well
you. Yes, no, please, if you haven't liked for a random rambling, which is what this stream
yeah
was always going to be,
yeah
make sure you get this. You hit that like button or smash it, as Noel just said.
yeah so if anything get any more what's it Since anything anything at all anything at all just so long as it doesn't get the channel and any hot more into any hot more or oh yes he's alright but he's the way the s- yeah yes yes s- yes I'm shite after same shite after you basic go how about yourself? I don't know what
I'm looking forward to weekend. I've got a
yeah
birthday coming up in my family, so that'd be good because that means my sisters and everybody's going to come down, and
yeah
we always have a laugh when we're all together. So that's
yeah
all. I always like when we have because we sometimes we have like a big tea and we have a proper like catch up because my sisters sort of live away a little bit, so it's nice to have that. But yes, Cinnamon, I watched that reveal of Mortal Kombat. It looks interesting because Mortal Kombat is also its own entity, those games. So it's always fun to see what on earth they've come up with for this one. It really has. And Warner Brothers is doing really well with its games. They've had a good year so far. I do have to moan though, right? I was getting excited because my Hogwarts Legacy on Switch was coming out in the
yeah
summer. And I was like, it's okay. I'm used to waiting because obviously Switch isn't as much of a powerful device and most of them get delayed. Guess when it's coming out now, Daniel?
oh Jesus and
November.
oh
So I'm going to have
fucking
to
hell
wait till November to play my
Gee,
Hogwarts.
oh Jesus Christ and you oh my god that be pissed off at that oh my god what are you going to actually you have me you ranting something I won't have anything about because I'm in a rant and something it's basically
Well, like I said, the good side of it is
so yeah
they basically said we're doing it so it's the best version when it gets put out, which I'm happy about.
oh yeah that old chess and old chess and what the
Yeah, but to be fair, the Avalanche, I can never Avalanche Softworks. That's the game. That's the people who made Hogwarts. They have got all their ports so far have been really good because they've just put it out on PS4 and the older Xbox. So and people were like, "Oh, these are good ports. There wasn't really any major bugs." So I'm annoyed because I was like, I can finally play this game in the summer. Like
see
everybody's been raving about this game who wanted it, and now then they just announced that.
see if that yeah, I'd be absolutely each in the you're sort of my but you sort of was it was it
Uh,
if about
yeah, at this point, Harry Potter was my childhood. Those were the things that got me into reading those books, and I watched all the movies. So as soon as they announced this, I was like, finally a proper game because we've all we've had so far is bad tie-in games.
it's
And then
just I just actually think the franchise is a heap of shot basically early I and I in as friends and I in as friends is by them
In some of the early movies with the kids, yes, but they're
yeah by
kids.
them inside past and I stand to that Emma and that Emma Surfing is she
Watson.
passes me and she passes me off for a hard call accent shit. She just
Well, it's
can't
okay. They're all getting replaced
become
anyway,
a
Daniel.
shot. Hallelujah.
Oh yeah, no, they're doing a HBO series. Like they said, it's going to be like 10 years worth of.
Yeah.
So everybody's going to get replaced. So we'll see what that.
Yeah. Yeah. I am. I actually. I might actually tune in that
But you hate
and
Harry
that
Potter.
yeah, but now that website is um on, I might actually um um I the new movie
Well, no, I said it's not a
whatever it is.
movie. They're doing like a season, like a proper HBO show. So it's going to
All
be
right, well,
like
yeah,
um, Nerdaholics. Here's the thing, right? Everybody was raving about Breath of the Wild on Switch. So when I got my
yeah,
Switch, I did get Breath of the Wild, and I tried it, but it's just not my style of game. I can see it was a really well done, well made game, and for the people who love those really open world where there's no real direction, you make the direction you
yeah,
sort of. It's I like things when there's a bit more of a traditional story there. So because I didn't get on with Breath of the Wild, I can't see me getting on with Tears.
uh-huh.
But here's the thing though, I think the world is fascinating of Zelda. So if we do get a Zelda movie, which is what's rumored, I am really intrigued with the movie if we get it. Because I think the world's interesting of Zelda. I've just never been able to get into the games.
And yeah,
But yeah, so
yeah,
Charlotte, what is your oh Sudoku? That's really hard. Like I said, the Harry Potters have got a real hold on me from my childhood. I adore the Witcher books. Uh, there's a couple. There's some Stephen King that I love, like James Herbert. I
yeah,
love, so I can't just pick a favorite book.
yeah,
Yeah, that's my thing, Sean. For me, it's too open world. That game. It's it's this big old thing where it literally dumps you in it, and it's like go. Like there's no real direction. You do what you want. And I know for some people they love that, but for me, it's like I grew up with my RPGs. That's what got me into gaming. So I like it when it's still got some of that RPG. Most of the games I love have got that. And they can have freedom. So I love the Persona games. And they're very sort of here's your store, here's your core story. But it's you can
yeah,
choose sort of the everyday life aspects and the sort of life sim aspects to those games, but that it's still a set
yeah.
story.
Yeah, so, yes, what you looking for, you were looking for my, oh, you were looking for my, oh, just, yes, harking back.
I'm so intrigued.
Yeah,
And I have to be careful what I say here, Daniel.
yeah,
The way they ended it, it was
yeah.
like, it was, I'm so intrigued. And I
Yeah,
adore that
I,
cast.
I, yeah, I haven't seen. I still haven't seen the end to get.
No, so folks,
It's
if anybody knows me, right, I'm
conclusion.
terrible for spoiling stuff. Daniel, I've not spoiled anything for you, have I?
Oh,
And for me, that's impressive. That
yeah,
I've not by accident let something slip. Because I'm so bad at that.
yeah,
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 nerd. Witcher 3 is the perfect balance. Perfect.
yeah. See,
That's sort of what I compare most of my open world RPG games I love. They always sort of get a comparison to Witcher 3.
yes. I mean, yeah, yes. I mean, yes. Same here. Same here. Same here. Said, I, um, kind of restart the reviews. I and because as I kind of want to get back, I kind of want to get back, and um, off and go off or if for a few maybe young as or as I'm not itself it part due to the as or and Charlotte's no or job to her in this I'm also um off kind of free.
Mm. Yeah, no, Cinnamon, my brother adores Elder Scrolls.
Yeah,
That's he spent so many hours. Eh, Sean, yes. Yes, I'm gonna watch it, but I'll be very, very, very surprised if I watch anything afterwards because of, like you said, the treatment of Henry, the way that they hi Matthew, the way they treat the books and the idea of canon and source material is shocking.
yeah,
And I'll the problem is, and I'll try not to go on a massive rant, is because they've missed out so many key like character beats in the books that they've already adapted, but they haven't bothered to have those character beats and meetings and setups. What they're going to try and pull off in season 3, which is like a big climactic, all the strands in the previous books at this point are sort of all coming together and are exploding. That's the easiest way I can explain it. But because they've not done those strands, they're going to have to rush now to get to this big battle. So I'll be very surprised if they pull it off. Be very surprised at this rate. Because here's the thing, something made Henry go let me reword that. We know there's probably multiple things that all work together to make Henry go, but he went after this season. So is there something this season that was the
yeah.
final pushing point, or was it just this was the first chance he could get out of his contract? Not in Wild Hunt, Sean. It's more to do with Ciri. There's a load of stuff that they haven't set up to do with the different parties and players that want Ciri, which they've just completely skipped. Meetings Geralt's had with other characters, which we have met in the show, but they've not met Geralt. They've not had run-ins with Ciri, which they should have. So it's not really Wild Hunt. Well, that's the issue.
Yeah, like, and yeah, because I don't really understand that franchise, so often me and Charlotte have to be basically sort of have to sort of educate each other on or other interests, which is also um, which is also um, which is also an experience, but age.
Yeah, it's but that's the thing. It's like sometimes that's so much fun, isn't it, to share something that's your sort of thing with somebody else.
Yeah,
And it's like it's just fun. It's fun. But yeah, Sean, I'm watching it, but I'd be very, very surprised if they pull it off. That's sort of the simple
yeah.
answer. And I don't think I'm going to watch beyond season 3. Really don't. Yeah, Matthew, I don't blame you. Some stuff can have a really good opening season, can't it? And then go downhill.
Oh yeah, I should Gary Sean and apologies that I had asked that question because I'm evil and I always have and I always have to put my for I always have to put my for the ends through some sort of hell. I put Charlotte through hell all the time, so you get used to that. On so yeah.
We suffer
Um,
him, don't we, Sean? We suffer being friends with Daniel.
yeah.
But to be fair, like, I think he's going to give it a good shot, Sean. I do think he's going to give it a good shot, but
Yeah, but they've kind of how east and they've kind of east Henry, so it's kind of pointless
oh yeah,
to be honest.
here's the thing, right?
Yeah,
Henry's fan base
yeah,
are crazy, and I'm saying this as one of them, right? It's they're crazy. They love him. Like they're some of the most dedicated fans I think I've ever seen for an actor. Let's put it that way.
oh
So
Jesus,
what?
and and ultra.
So they're a dedicated bunch, and I don't
Oh
think
God,
Netflix
yeah.
understood how much of a pull having Henry was, and they're going to have a shock because Liam just doesn't
Oh,
have as much of a pull. He just doesn't. Thank you, Noel, for popping. And guys,
yeah,
Noel is going to
cheers.
do his contact stream soon, so make
Yeah,
sure you say hello to him in his chat.
yep. But like basically, I think it'll have a sort of basically, I think it'll have a, and basically it'll have basically I think it will have an adverse effect
Oh God, yeah.
on the show, but yeah, oh, let's put up another cheeky comment up. Oh yeah.
You can understand the wrestling bit.
Well, yeah, but he's talking about somebody else. I fancy because remember we spoke about how how long my is it's like 100 times long of all the female wrestlers in my and see that's kind of that's kind of what Sean's trying to sort of compare it.
Yeah, but to be like, here's the thing,
Compare it.
right? It's not just the sort of fancy angle, which it is. I'm not denying that. Henry's Henry. But
Yeah.
it's the fact that he actually fights for what he cares for in his shows. And he doesn't just treat it as, oh, this is my job, I'll get paid and move on. Like, that's a rare breed now in acting, who actually thinks, no, I'm going to actually fight for what's better for my character. And especially if there's a source material here that Henry knows and he adores the books and the games. So, and that's the other thing. It's like he I think we'll never truly know how much was his influence in the show for the good bits now. But I've got a sneaky feeling there was a lot of stuff that he never got the credit for, but he actually pushed for and he got in the show. So with that gone, it's like the writers are going to have no checks or balances now.
Yeah.
So that's what's scary. And that's why a lot of the fan base is like, yeah, I'm not bothered anymore because you haven't got, like I said, Henry's influence to try and keep this show as much on track to what we all love about the world of The Witcher.
Yeah. Yeah. So anymore. So anymore. Questions. Before we wrap up, I'll have a few more.
Oh, okay, Daniel, here's one for you. Like, what are you generally, and this could be across the board, right? What are you generally thinking that you're looking forward to? Whether that's show, games, wrestling, whatever.
The show, yeah, the wrestling show I'm going to see in Fudge, because I haven't been show and about and about 40 years. So
Oh, wow.
so yeah, it's kind of aspect like and back I and also the new Fast and Furious movie, and I try not to spoil it for me because it's just out and and is and the genre. Oh, I'm a big Fast and Furious um and it's also I'm kind of looking forward in the way it's the movie. So yeah, those are in things, but yeah, but yeah, so and so on, actually, because the last show was just to be before the pan and the pan so I haven't been a show since
So would it be
since
weird going back to a show? Or would it just be like going back home?
well kinda because it's a kind of attracted, I kind of attracted people that have, have, also like kind of like a sort of are you and sort of thing, and I only see and I only see was people also like kinda a home is sort of the you and if you know what I mean, as a
No,
stupid as a stupid explanation, but you know about but you know oh, um in but was as my ist passion outside of uh, outside of football. I've kind of asked I've kind of asked actually I've kind of actually asked I've kind of actually asked I've kind of actually asked I've kind I've kind of actually asked it's experience of like actual shows. So yeah, so yeah, so for me,
hi
he
PJ.
s- of he is kind of like a big sort of um he off my back, big as I haven't actually been able to haven't actually been able to get like it's on a oh because the show I want is 5 minutes as 5 minutes if from so it's so so it's easy 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 it's easy to access um 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 if you know um because I'm obviously not the most able bodied person either, and
Yeah, so that's important to you at the end of the day.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, Sean. Please, I think you'll enjoy Wednesday. But yes, that dancing is very, very good, addictive to watch. It's brilliant.
yeah,
So I'm not surprised your daughter's been playing it that much.
yeah. So yeah,
But I hope you enjoy
so
it, Sean, because I did.
yeah, so that's the basic answer. I'm like, hmm, it's in the hope of and the hope of expel in the is to the and basic kill.
No, you
Oh,
did.
yeah,
For me, like I sort of mentioned the Hogwarts thing because I think I'm gonna be like falling in love when I play it because I love RPGs. I love a good story. And from the bits I've heard of people who have played Hogwarts Legacy, they've said it's really well done.
yeah,
And like I said, as a child, I wanted to go to Hogwarts. I was one of those kids. Like it was such a dream, and I will say this recently, gaming has become sort of my escape of a lot of stuff in the real world that can get me down. The fact that I can just sit
Yeah,
down and be this other character, and that's the other thing I love about RPGs is you create this character, and if you're anything like me, when you play them, you feel like you're almost that character. So I'm going to create my character, and she's going to be in Hogwarts, and that's what I've always wanted to do as a fan of the Potter stuff myself. So I'm just that's going to be my big thing. I'm so looking forward to. Telly wise, for stuff I know that's coming out this year, I still have a big hope for Who. I just think with Tennant back, with all the other stuff going on, I will just say that I have a hope for it. So I'll see. There's season 2 of Wednesday is coming out this year at some point, so that I'm really looking forward to because Wednesday was such a surprise. Like I basically watched it purely out of respect for Jenna Ortega because she actually stood up for her character, what she thought, and I think she was right, what she saw Wednesday as. And she actually made the writers not do silly things on the show. So I was like, purely out of respect for you, I will watch this because I've heard good things about it. So I went in with no real expectations, if that's the right word. I just watched it. And I was blown away with just, wow, this is such good acting. Because they were all young, the cast. So it's like, I'm gonna have to that's in the back of my head. I was like, I'm gonna have to watch a load of teenagers or young adults act, which can work, but also cannot. But they were all really well acted. It was just the right amount of creepy, just the right amount of creepy. And it was just, and I couldn't see, and it was, and I loved actually the character relationships in it. So, yeah, for telly, there's a hope for Who. I'll put it that way. There's still a hope. Wednesday season 2, I'm really looking forward to. And for my big thing, it is Hogwarts Legacy because I get to be my dream of being a witch.
Yeah, like unfortunately, I won't have the same hope for Who at the moment, but yeah, but in terms of the with things I've mentioned, I'm looking forward. And also, and also as Elma, a football team is still basically the best side in Scotland. So there's a lot of things hopeful or thankful for, but unfortunately, unfortunately,
Hi,
I think
zombie.
unfortunately, I think my unfortunately, I think my aim, I think my aim, I think my aim of Who is and is to be easy. I just won't have that passion that I have any more for or as opposed in other things I am actually starting I'm actually starting to hate showing them what things that happen with the fans. And show it's made me just it's sort of it's I became a fan in the first um I became a fan in the first 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 is actually that excited for the sixth and for and the sixth and for the sixth yes year or I just want really have investment investment and showing him what's sad
Well,
I'm
yeah,
sad
and like we were saying before, if that's your view, we were saying about having different views and being respectful in that sense and letting people have them. Like, if that's your view, Daniel. And you have every right to have that view. And don't let anybody tell you you can't have it.
Yeah.
I'm coming from a different place. That's I know you're not the only one, so don't feel like you're by yourself, but I know I'm not the only one who still has hope. So we'll just have to see, I think, how it turns out.
So if anybody get a final question before we up because it was just a short one because you haven't actually um um listen, you haven't actually streamed since the 300 up I've streamed so is anybody got a final is anybody got a final is anybody get a final and before we out before we shout out who's
Yeah, and well, we'll see if anybody pops up with a question. Thank you for all being in the chat. We adore having you all there, and to have even some new faces, some new names like Zombie Box. Thank you. I've seen you on other channels, so thank you very much for popping into our chat. And hopefully, you come to our other streams. That sort of we do chill streams like this, or we have our more structured stuff. So thank you. And thank you, Sean, Sadaku, Wendy, Darren, Noel. Problem being, I'm probably missing people like Matthew, Cinnamon Toast. Thank you, everybody who's been in the chat. We really appreciate it.
So I wasn't actually looking over here. I'm actually having questions, so I'll let you want of your outs for host.
Yep, so you will see me on the Spacebook, Type 40, whether that's the live show. And last night, I think I had such a ball last night. We had our moment stream where we all talked about our top 3 or just the 3 moments we came up for moments of the show throughout all its history. So if you want to hear us proper go into detail a bit about those moments and why they mean so much to us, that's what was streamed last night, and it was a really fun stream. And then you'll catch me also on Type 40 Extras because Starry and Dan talked about the Eurovision trailer, so you've got an extra one for that. And you'll catch me on Null Zone, which is on a Monday when we sort of are gonna, we don't quite know what the stream is yet, but Noel's like on a Monday we will, and then on Wednesday we've got our chill streams, which is sort of similar type to this a little bit format where we just talk about whatever and sort of what's currently happening with us and what we're watching or news articles that have got our interest. So catch us on Wednesdays. Usually it's me, Noel, PD, and some other guests.
And you know where and you know where to find me because we're already on a channel, so look out for any lyric odds that I that the site I'm chatting about I chat about all different sorts of stuff on channel, and I might actually bring back I might actually bring back the FIFA streams and the 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 or evolutions of and the pro evolutions of because I know what you enjoy enjoy us streams because I'm absolutely shy at both of those both of those both of those both of those games, but I basically that
Because people like to watch you suffer.
Yeah, people like to watch me suffer and have a laugh at me being a winning the game. So yeah, subscribe for that and also I've got all my other streams on wrestling, and I've got my just streams of Charlotte and all sorts of them. I've got other streams I hope to bring back as but unfortunately the trail aren't as still so I'm only have so I'm going to have and the as but thanks for everybody and I'll see you all very soon.
See you guys soon.